Welcome to all the classic car enthusiasts. So I've just putting up a video now on, or just uploaded this video on the soundproofing. The one I'm using is Silent Coat, which Alex Hart of DGSE was good enough to get for me in the UK, and I picked it up when we had our meet. Really good stuff. I bought 4 cartons of it because obviously we had the minis to do and the XKs and so on and so forth, and yeah, it's the best way to do it, to bring it back, because they're quite heavy, the boxes. So the 2 quick shout outs I want to do today is, one is for Sean C, that's Sean Coyle, who's got his Mini Angus. He's also got Annie, the Mini 30 anniversary, and he has also 3 BMW Minis. And he had a new job last year, and so he's been very busy with that, but he's now starting to come back onto Angus and Annie, and the videos he does are really well done. He shoots them from different angles, and so have a look in on Sean if you're not already watching. The other one is Keith Miller. Keith has got 2 minis, Piao and Vinny. And he's been doing a lot of work with his friend Mark, who I was fortunate enough to meet and go to his garage when I met Paul P and Keith together. He has a lovely, Mark has a lovely collection of minis, some superb ones, and they're doing the kit project at the moment. But Keith's site is great because he's very precise. Keith, he likes things done right. Technically, he knows his stuff inside out, and you know, he's the guy to watch if you want something done right and you need to know something in depth. Keith is the man to talk to. Keith and DB Mini DIY, they very much make sure that what they're saying is correct. And this leads me on to a point. You know, when we make these videos, we make them hopefully for a bit of fun and some information exchange and so on and so forth. But by the same token, we are in a way kind of leaving ourselves open to things, because you know, there's a lot of people out there that are watching these things for a guide. They're watching them for entertainment. They're watching them because they want to see if there's an alternative way to do it. There's people that are far more experienced than myself and the other YouTubers. As I was saying before the phone rang, yeah, so there's people out there that are watching this stuff, and they expect to give us, or they expect us to make sure what we're saying is correct. And there are some sites where people are doing different things, and everybody's entitled to do what they want. It's their own car. You know, people can put opinions in, whatever, but at the end of the day, it's up to the person that's doing what they're doing. But I do feel that you know, that whatever you do should be at least safe, especially if you're going to pass the car on to somebody. I mean, to bodge up a car and then try and sell it on YouTube, you're just asking for trouble, in my opinion. You know, you can actually dump your videos, which in certain cases has happened, but somebody can still keep a record of it. So you need to be very careful what you say and what you do, because you could be held liable for it. On that note, I, like many people, get thumbs down from people, and I really wish that they wouldn't hide behind these pseudonyms, because in nearly 100% of the cases, these keyboard warriors, as I call them, or trolls, I guess I think it's called in YouTube, they put up a false site, and normally there's no subscriptions and there's no content to them. Very rarely there is any content in them. They just make them up so they can use them, and it gives them the autonomy to hide behind the system and not be caught out, you know. And I guess that's the way it is. There's a lot of cowards in the world, and a lot of people who think that they've got an opinion and they can say what they like, but won't actually front people up. You know, it is what it is. And what I really get, it doesn't bother me so much, because they're wallies anyway. But when I see sites like Trev's blog, you know, I mean, Trev is probably one of the best metalwork guys I've ever seen. His stuff is brilliant. And his content is great, and he's a super nice guy as well. Never met him, but he seems a really nice guy to me. And yet he's getting thumbs down on really good information videos, and well produced and well edited, unlike mine. Alex Toon is another one. I mean, Alex had a video up where he was explaining about his accident, how he ended up in a wheelchair and so on and so forth. and two cretins put 2 thumbs down on it. I'm thinking, you know, what kind of sick bastards is there out there, or sick people who can do that? Not that Alex should get any special treatment. He's just an average guy like the rest of us, you know, and he's working with with the disabilities that he's got, working in the chair, but he's still getting on and doing it. But there's some sad people. Anyway, on a better note, I hope the video is of some interest to you. It's a bit basic, I know, but maybe a few of the tips might help out. And yeah, I hope you enjoy it. So Tuesday, the guests come and we can really start getting on with the mechanical work, putting in the rear subframe, doing the front subframe, doing everything on the car. So that's basically when it won't start Tuesday because it's 8 o'clock at night. I have to go to the airport, pick them up. So it'll probably be Wednesday, Thursday before you see a video of the car going back together. But I will try and show you as much as possible because it's been asked for. So, and I hope you enjoy them. Thanks very much. Bye for now. Putting sound deadening or heat reduction silver foil into the Mini. Mostly this is called Silent Coat. This is just one brand. There are many different brands. So it's just a couple of little things. It's pretty basic. You can't go wrong with it, but there are a couple of little tips that might help out. The first thing you want to be doing is, once you've got everything out, your seats and everything, is to actually lay these out dry with the backing still on them, and see which is going to be your best position to put it in. Don't just start throwing it in and then find out you're going to have to make little small pieces. So what you want to do is work out what's the best position, whether it's like this, or whether it's this way across, and so on and so forth. You can see there, for instance, that might be a better way of doing it. One of the things I do see a lot of people put this in and they don't join it up. It's not necessary to do that, but you will get a better sound deadening for sure, and you get less drumming. This is really what this is all about. So the closer you have it together, the better it will be. One of the biggest issues with this stuff is if the metal is cold, it's very difficult for it to stick. So you might have to use a heater, which I will show you in the next clip anyway. So the best way to do this is get it all lined up roughly where you want it to be, see which is going to be the best position for it, and as I say, dry fit it so that you can see if you've got enough, where it's going to go, and so on and so forth. The least you can cut this, the better, because it's quite fiddly. It does go in beautifully, there's no problems with it, but the less cutting you have to do, you know, the less joins you have to do. So we'll go on to the next piece and I'll show you just some of the basic tools you need. Okay, so these are a few tools that are really handy to have. If you've got a space heater like I do, or you've got some kind of heater, put that on, try and warm the metal up a bit. Or you can use a heat gun like this, which is great for glue, or on sticking glue as well from old interior. And basically, you know, I'm lucky I've got a set of punches here for punching holes through these, so I can basically, all you do is just basically put them on the wood, pick up your hammer, come away from the car, and then you can see I can pull that piece out. I've still got the backing on it, of course, but you can see that it leaves you a perfect hole. There are a lot of times when obviously these things are too small or they're not the right size. What you can then do is get yourself a piece of tubular and just chamfer the side and just use that as a punch. There's many old ways to do it. There's another one there. Again, you can say just chamfer the side, make it nice and sharp, and bang down on it. It's easy enough. And obviously what you can do as well is you can just use a Stanley knife. If you put this in where your grommets go in the floor, you can pop this in and just push your finger around it and then take it out, and you can see the circle, and you can just use a Stanley knife or whatever you want to take it out. But it does look neater, it looks more professional. The thing with this is if you the chances are you probably won't need to take the bung plugs out for water ingress in the car, but if you cover over it, then you've got to cut it again anyway, so sometimes it's better just to make it. But one tip with this, because it gets rolled, make the hole slightly bigger, because then when you roll it, it'll go into the, and you then can't get the grommet into the metal, because this is going into the metal or covering the metal. So that's a couple of things there. This is a roller that I made up. This is just a simple paint roller, and what I did was, this is a broom handle, for instance, and then you can, I'll just put a nut on the end of it, a little nylock nut, and you can make then this whatever you want, the diameter of this whatever you want. So if you've got very small recesses, you can make it shorter, or you can make the diameter smaller. You can buy these, but some of them are so big, the wooden roller, that you can't get them into the, and I'll show you this a bit later. And this one is nice because it goes into that groove, and you can really push the silent coat into it. So yeah, just some basic stuff that you need. You know, the big thing with this is plan what you're going to do with it first. Don't just, you know, bang on and just put it in, because if you plan it, you'll use less material and you'll have less wastage. You know, you end up with offcuts and pieces like this, and it's reasonably well priced. I think this, for a box of this, is £80 or something. But you really need to think about where you're actually putting it in the car, where the noise and the vibration, well, so much vibration, but noise is going to come from, because they are quite tinny minis. Anyway, let's go on to the next bit. I've started to put some into the door skin. The optimum time to do this is if you're changing the door skin, but that's not always the case. But obviously, if you're going to put it into the door skin, you need to actually put it onto the frame to make sure it's not going to intrude into the where the window winder is going to be, and the mechanisms and so on and so forth, or the handles for that matter. So, you know, you can put it in, dry fit it, see where it's going to fit, and then pick it up. And the best way that I found with this is if you take half the backing off, because it's very restricted in here. So if you take half the backing off and just hold it with your fingers there, then when you go to put it in, it's easy enough to bring it up in line and fit it right to the edge. And you feel the edge as you do it, so then you can just pull the paper off in one section. What you don't want to do in this particular situation is overlap it, because it's quite tight in there for the windows and all the seals and stuff. So you want to be doing that, getting that as close to each edge as you can, like here. So then you can then go around and flatten it all out and roll it. That's the way to do it. And the same up in this end, just push it and roll it back this way. And that's the easiest way to do it. But like I say, the optimum time is if you're doing a door skin, but that's not always the case. So as you can see, this is typical of what BMC or British Leyland or Austin, whatever, put into these rear quarter panels. They just put one small basic sheet in, and they put it across at an angle. And this was basically just to stop the drumming noise, because they were very bad for it. And even this one single sheet does help. Without this on at all, they really are tinny. So they obviously went for the very minimum and very basic to stop that road noise. And it was obviously done for cost and everything else. So, as I said again, I'll take you over to the beige Mini and I'll show you the one that I've done inside there and how I've coated it right up into the corner, and I'll take you there now. So as you can see, I've got the silent coat in this beige Mini, and you can see I've done some little cutouts there where the arches go on. Obviously you don't want to be going over the top of them, although I don't know, they might even protect them, but we tend to give them a covering over with a wax oil, so because they do even internally get quite rusty. And I think you can see it's the same this side. I can't, yeah, you can see. So yeah, as I said, if you can join it up and just join it right up to the edge, because once you start rolling it, it will push together slightly, you know, half a mil or so. and particularly on the front end of the Mini is where you want to be making it really soundproof, because the engine noise is quite bad on Minis.